Hi, I'm going to be showing you the user features and functions of the backend for the inventory system. And I'll be showing you how to add new items and how to create new sheets from these master copies if you need to implement them on any other systems or any other stock rooms or most likely for the other vans such as the carpet wash. So first of all, adding new items. It's pretty straightforward. Everything's programmable, so that way it's linked and formulas are drag and drop. But let's go into our. I have a little list here that I just had ChatGPT run a random items. I'm gonna copy and say this is like you have a spreadsheet of new items that you need to add to either the stock room, and so you're just simply gonna either on your if you have another spreadsheet or wherever you get it from, make sure you copy and paste it so that way it has the exact syntax. So that way when it's linking to cells and linking to the form through the pre-filled link, it sees that a one cell is going to be the same as the other cell, or in the case of the Google form, it's the options are exact. So we're going to copy this. We're going to copy. We're just going to go into first, we're going to go into our product appendix, and we're just going to paste, and it pastes all our items. So that way it's the same syntax. And we're also going to paste that into our live inventory for the stock room. We're just going to press paste. From there, we're going to highlight the row of formulas and just drag it down. And then change the min and maxes such that they fit your liking. We're going to do the same for the product appendix. These are all programmable, API and URLs and QR codes, so therefore you can just drag them down, and they're all concatenate of each other, so therefore it works with the form. And as you saw in the last video, it's easily accessible. So we're just going to drag that down, and now we have interior latex paint. We have its check-in, check-out QR code, the paintbrush, check-in, check-out QR code, and URLs. The problem with this is there's no options right now since we haven't put it in for these items on our check-in, check-out log or in our form. So if you don't put these items into the form, you're not going to be able to scan these QR codes. These QR codes either will give you just the flat URL of the form, and workers would have to manually go and select items if it doesn't match, if this name isn't matching to the form. Or in the case of androids will scan it. It'll import the link to the form into the notes with a caption of the item name. So now what we're going to do is we're going to way too many. We're going to copy these item names and just to make sure that they're exactly the same syntax, and we're just going to go to our Google form, enter V, control V, and now we have. And if we were to go do responses, I'm not going to do that right now just because it'd mess up the working form. But you can just get rid of them, or you can just copy and paste it. And then to get rid of them, you can just press remove. And I'm just going to get rid of them so that way our working form that's accurate to the stock room doesn't have these dummy stuff. So we're just going to highlight this, delete, and everything's gone except for the stuff that's actually in the stock room. So that's pretty straightforward. And then response and QR and the check-in, check-out queries are not affected just because those are just listing the responses from the form. So you want to make sure that the items are exactly as the same as inputted into the QR code appendix, especially, and the this live inventory. So we're also going to get rid of this live inventory, but you want to make sure that those have the same syntax, capitalization, spacing, whatever. So it's very similar for the paint van and the tote inventory system. Instead of having to place it into a live inventory and the QR appendix, you're just going to copy and paste it into you're copying and pasting your items into whatever tote that those items are going to go in. And since these are all on the same sheet, we can just drag this entire row and drag it down. So, and then we're gonna fix these so that way they say this is the cock tote, and so they have those parenthetical labels, so that way it's easier to like label. And then so like we'll just put in this one for now. We're just gonna copy and paste this, and say we go to our paint tote. All these items are all the same. We're just gonna locate wherever whatever options. It doesn't matter which order you put it in, as long as it's easy to. It'd just be easier for the workers if they're all labeled in the same tote within the same labels, and we're just gonna copy and paste it. But we're since that's a dummy item, we're gonna delete that for now. But that's how you would add items in the sheets. And we're just gonna make sure that cock tote ends with quick read. Yep. Okay. Now, when you want to make a new spreadsheet for for a different van, I'm going to show you how to do it for a van because I think practically it'd be the easiest way to show you, and that's most likely what you can end up copying. And if you need to make it for the inventory stock room, and you want to make a copy, it's the same process, and it's much easier actually than this one, just because this one has so many tabs on it. But first, we're gonna do is we're gonna make a copy of our inventory spreadsheet. We're gonna make a copy. Let's say this is the wash. Make a copy, and then while it loads, perfect. Now it's loaded. We make a copy, and everything's duplicable, even the response log responses. It's still the problem with this responses is it's still linked to the uh paint form. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna unlink the form so that way this new wash spreadsheet doesn't have any information from the paint systems. And I'm just gonna keep the paint totes and the items the same just to show you and just for convenience. We're just going to unlink the response form, but we're still left with the tab. We want to get rid of this tab, and I'll show you later how to link the check in check out log to a new spreadsheet or to a new tab. So we're going to delete this response tab because it serves us no purpose anymore since we don't have a the paint form on it anymore because this is now the wash. Now we're going to take the paint van form and we're going to make a copy of that. We're going to call it the wash. Change this to wash. I'm just going to keep, like I said, keep the same items for now. And there's no responses because it's a new form. And it's also not linked to a sheet. So now we're going to link to sheets. Now we're going to select existing sheets. And we're going to go to that wash form. And we're going to get rid of this old one. And when you look, it says form responses 2. So it doesn't really matter what this tab is. I rename them to responses just to keep everything uniform within. But we could say wash form responses. And now all the responses from the wash form are going to come up on this tab. But the problem is when we go to our check-in checkout log, it says reference error. It's unresolved. It has a null reference because this response sheet doesn't exist anymore. So we're going to delete this reference, and we're going to delete that reference. We're going to go back to our new response log. We're going to highlight the entire box and press enter. And we're going to do the same thing for checkout. We're going to get rid of that null reference. Go to the wash form, the linked form response log, and highlight the entire cell. Just enter, and you can see the check-in, checkout. It transferred in that header that's indicated by that portion of the query. It has the headers of the wash response log. So now everything should be working. It's all logged in. We're gonna just show you a trial run, and since all the items are the same, it should be the same as if since all the items are the same and we're pretending that the items from the paint van are the same as the wash van and the wash form has the same items. We're just gonna go wrong form. We're gonna go preview, and we're just gonna go crud cutter bottle, surface prep tote. We're gonna check in 3 of them. Record my email first. This is just a trial to show that it has functionality. So now it's in my check-in log for my wash, and we can see that it's good. If it's in my check-in log, it's in my response log. We're gonna go to our surface prep tote, and it's not checked in. We want to make sure that it's checked in, so we're gonna make sure this is linked correctly, and we're gonna go to we're gonna delete. It should be correct. Enter. And I don't know why it's not doing that, but we can just delete that. And if you're having this problem, you just go back to your check-in log, and then you just press CD2. It's summing up the quantity. We're gonna go -D, and then add those money signs so that way it stays. Press enter. And it's showing that it's 3, so it might just be because it needs to be reloaded. I'm going to reload my page, just make sure. And now, yeah. So it's not anything. If it's showing that it's 3, then it just hasn't loaded correctly yet from the query. And that's completely fine. Just reload your page. And now we're checked in. We're going to do a trial run. We're going to submit another response. So we're just going to check out 2 of them. Job code, whatever. Submit. And now it's 2 and it works. Perfect. And now we can see that our functionality, we linked everything and it's correct. So that's all the features for the back end of the inventory system. I showed you how to replicate the van spreadsheet, but it'd be the same thing for the stockroom. Stockroom instead, you'd have to make a copy, unlink this response tab, make sure that the check-in you make sure the check-in and check-out are this is referencing the correct sheet, and you're gonna when you make a copy of the stockroom form, you're gonna make sure that it's linked to the pre-existing spreadsheet, and it's the copy of this, and you just change the labels and everything works. And that should be it. If you have any questions or about any functionality, feel free to email us. And if not, these are all like pretty surface level spreadsheet stuff. We didn't go into anything overly complicated. So the Google Help Center for spreadsheets also is a good way to look at everything.